The Soviet Air Force produced over 150,000 aircraft during World War II. Some became legends that changed aerial warfare forever. Others were obsolete death traps flown by desperate pilots. Today, we're revealing every major Soviet aircraft that fought from Moscow to Berlin. Let's begin. Legendary ground attack, the flying tanks. Aviation Il-2 Sturmovik. The most produced military aircraft in history with over 36,000 built. Its armored bathtub could withstand 20mm cannon fire, protecting pilot and engine while delivering devastating firepower against German armor. Luftwaffe pilots called it the flying tank, while Wehrmacht soldiers nicknamed it the Black Death. Stalin himself declared it as essential to the Red Army as air and bread. An unstoppable beast. Aviation Il-10. The refined evolution arriving in 1944 with better aerodynamics, improved armor, and a proper rear gunner position. Faster and more survivable than earlier Il-2 variants, it represented 4 years of brutal combat experience perfected. Though only 4,600 were built before war's end, it showed Soviet ground attack doctrine had reached maturity. Petlyakov P-2. The Soviet Mosquito, a twin-engine speed demon excelling as dive bomber, reconnaissance platform, and heavy fighter. Over 11,400 produced made it the most numerous Soviet twin-engine aircraft. Its 540 km/h speed made interception difficult, and its versatility made it indispensable from Stalingrad to the fall of Berlin. Elite fighters, masters of the sky. Lavochkin La-7. Arguably the best Soviet fighter of the entire war. Lighter and faster than its predecessors, armed with 3 20mm cannons that could shred German aircraft. It dominated Eastern Front skies in 1944–45. Top Soviet ace Ivan Kozydub scored 17 of his 64 kills in this machine, calling it perfection. The Luftwaffe learned to fear it. Yakovlev Yak-3. Small, light, and absolutely lethal below 16,000 feet. Weighing barely 2 tons, it could outturn anything the Luftwaffe threw at it. The legendary French Normandy Niemen Squadron specifically requested this fighter after testing all available types. German pilots were warned to avoid combat with Yak-3s below 5,000 meters. That deadly. Yakovlev Yak-9. The most produced Soviet fighter with over 16,700 built in countless variants. Some mounted 37mm or even 45mm cannons for tank busting and bomber destruction. Others served as long-range escorts reaching Berlin. Its incredible versatility made it indispensable from the Volga to the Reichstag. The workhorse that won the war. Lavochkin La-5. A radical redesign that transformed the disastrous Lag-3 into a winner. By replacing the troublesome inline engine with a powerful radial, Soviet engineers created a fighter that could finally challenge the Bf-109 on equal terms. Nearly 10,000 rolled off production lines, turning the tide in desperate battles. Yakovlev Yak-1. The fighter that gave Soviet pilots their first competitive mount. Combining wooden wings with steel tube fuselage, it was quick to build and deadly in skilled hands. Its 600 km/h top speed matched early Messerschmitts, finally ending German air superiority. The turning point, Yakovlev Yak-7. Originally a 2-seat trainer hastily converted into a frontline fighter. Its dual controls made it perfect for combat training while remaining lethal in battle. Over 6,000 served, bridging the gap between training and frontline service during the war's most desperate periods. Lend-Lease warriors, Allied steel. Bell P-39 Airacobra. An American fighter the Yuzov rejected but Soviet pilots transformed into legend. Its heavy 37mm nose cannon was perfect for low-altitude combat on the Eastern Front. Nearly 5,000 delivered via Lend-Lease, with top Soviet aces like Pokrishkin scoring dozens of kills. In Soviet hands, it became deadly. Bell P-63 King Cobra. The improved Airacobra arriving too late for European combat but devastating in the brief war against Japan in August 1945. Over 2,400 delivered, with its bubble canopy and powerful engine making it popular with Soviet pilots who appreciated American engineering. Hawker Hurricane. Britain's stalwart fighter defending Arctic convoys and Murmansk approaches. Over 2,900 delivered through treacherous northern routes. Soviet pilots appreciated its ruggedness but found it inferior to their own Yaks. Still, it held the line when every aircraft mattered. Supermarine Spitfire. The legendary British fighter received in limited numbers, around 1,300 total. Soviet pilots respected its performance but cursed its narrow landing gear on rough frontline airfields. Beautiful but impractical for Eastern Front conditions. A thoroughbred in a muddy war. Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. Over 2,000 Tomahawks and Kitty Hawks defending the Caucasus and southern sectors. Though outclassed by 1943, it proved reliable for ground attack. American ruggedness meeting Soviet desperation. Early war fighters, obsolete but fighting. Polikarpov I-16. Revolutionary in 1935 as the world's first mass-produced monoplane fighter with retractable gear. By 1941, hopelessly obsolete but still fighting desperately. Soviet pilots called it E-Shock, the little donkey, for its stubborn handling. Over 8,000 built, it bought time with pilot blood. Polikarpov I-153. An upgraded biplane that seemed outdated the moment it appeared. Despite retractable landing gear and improved armament, it was slaughtered in Operation Barbarossa's opening days. Over 3,400 produced in a tragic miscalculation of modern aerial warfare's demands. Polikarpov I-5. Nicknamed Chaika, Seagull, for its distinctive gull wing. This stubby biplane's incredible maneuverability made it dangerous in skilled hands despite being obsolete. A relic fighting in a modern war. Lag 3. Built almost entirely from wood, earning the grim nickname Guaranteed Flying Coffin. Heavy, underpowered, losing altitude in turns. Its only virtue was absorbing tremendous punishment before falling. Soviet pilots hated flying it, but thousands had no choice. MiG-3. A high-altitude interceptor designed for German bombers that never came. Exceptional above 20,000 feet but sluggish at low altitude where most combat occurred. Thousands built for a threat that didn't materialize. Wrong aircraft, wrong doctrine. Night bombers, terror from darkness. Polikarpov P-2. A humble biplane trainer that became a legendary night harassment bomber. Flying low and slow with cut engines, then diving with throttle open, the sound terrified German troops. The all-female 588th Night Bomber Regiment earned the German nickname Night Witches. Over 30,000 built, it was death by 1,000 cuts. Tupolev Tu-2. Widely regarded as the best Soviet bomber of the war. This sleek twin-engine design combined 550 km/h speed with heavy bomb loads and long range. Entering service in 1942, over 2,000 were built. It remained in service for decades afterward. Excellence recognized. Heavy bombers, strategic reach. Petlyakov P-8. The Soviet Union's only 4-engine heavy bomber. Only 93 built due to complexity, but it flew prestige missions including transporting Foreign Minister Molotov to meetings with Churchill and Roosevelt. It also conducted the famous August 1941 raid on Berlin, proving Soviet reach. Rare but symbolic. Ilyushin DB-3/IL-4. The backbone of Soviet long-range aviation, capable of striking deep into German territory. Its mixed wood-metal construction made it economical for mass production. Thousands conducted the strategic bombing campaign against German industry and logistics throughout the war. Tupolev SB-2. A fast bomber that dominated the late 1930s but became a death trap by 1941. Once nearly untouchable at 450 km/h, German fighters butchered it. Over 6,500 built became obsolete overnight when war arrived. Cautionary tale. Tupolev TB-3. A massive 4-engine giant from the 1930s, completely obsolete by 1941. Its corrugated metal skin and fixed landing gear belonged to another era. Many converted to transports or paratroop carriers. A museum piece fighting in a modern war. Yermolayev Ur-2. A long-range bomber hampered by production difficulties. Only 360 to 400 built before production halted. Those that served performed well, but Soviet priorities shifted to fighters and attack aircraft. Potential unfulfilled. Lend-Lease bombers, American Muscle. North American B-25 Mitchell. Nearly 900 American medium bombers delivered through Lend-Lease. Its reliability and heavy defensive armament made it popular with Soviet crews operating in European and Far Eastern theaters. American engineering Soviet pilots could trust. Douglas A-20 Boston/Havoc. Over 3,000 delivered became workhorses. fast and maneuverable, excelling in bombing, reconnaissance, and ground attack. Crews valued its twin-engine reliability over hostile territory. When one engine failed, the other brought you home. Reconnaissance, eyes of the front. Petlyakov P-3, a heavy fighter variant of the P-2 with nose-mounted cannons. Served as night interceptor and reconnaissance platform with mixed success. Filled critical gaps during desperate periods when any aircraft with guns mattered. Yakovlev Yak-4, a light bomber and reconnaissance aircraft showing promise but plagued by engine troubles. Only about 100 built before 1941 production ended. Another victim of Soviet aviation's chaotic early war period. Transport lifelines. Lisanov Li-2, the Soviet license-built Douglas DC-3, over 4,800 produced, formed the backbone of military transport. It delivered supplies, dropped paratroopers, evacuated wounded, and kept the Red Army mobile. Unglamorous but absolutely essential. Antonov A-7, a simple wooden glider delivering troops and supplies. Towed into combat zones, these expendable craft participated in airborne operations. Cheap, effective, and terrifying for the soldiers inside. Trainers, forging pilots. Yakovlev Yak-7 UTI, a two-seat trainer bridging training and combat. Many were pressed into frontline service during critical shortages, serving double duty. When you needed fighters, trainers fought. Yakovlev UT-2, the primary trainer introducing students to powered flight. Simple and forgiving, it formed the backbone of Soviet pilot training. Tens of thousands learned to fly in this humble machine. Polikarpov U-2. Before becoming the legendary P-2 night bomber, it trained tens of thousands of Soviet pilots. The most versatile aircraft in Soviet service: trainer, bomber, ambulance, liaison. It did everything. Jet age dawn, future glimpsed. Yakovlev Yak-15. Developed in war's final months but too late for combat. Using a Yak-3 airframe with a turbojet beneath, it flew shortly after Germany's surrender. The propeller era was ending. The jet age had arrived. Mikoyan Gurevich I-250, a mixed-power interceptor using a motorjet system. Limited production began in 1945, marking the transition from pistons to pure jets. The future barely glimpsed. Berezhnyak-Kaiseyev Bi-1, the Soviet Union's first rocket-powered aircraft. Tested experimentally with remarkable speeds, but one fatal accident ended the program. Too dangerous, too radical, too soon. Conclusion. From the legendary Il-2 Shturmovik to the humble P-2 night bomber, from the deadly Yak-3 to American Lend-Lease fighters, Soviet aircraft told a story of desperation transformed into dominance.